They laughed when you fell. They whispered when you struggled. They smiled when you failed. Not out of cruelty, out of comfort. Your failure made them feel better about their own lack of effort. Your struggle validated their decision to quit. Your pain gave them permission to stay where they were. So they got comfortable. Comfortable in their judgment of you. Comfortable in their belief that you wouldn't rise. Comfortable in the story they told themselves about why you were down and why you'd stay down. Stay until the end. This won't hit now. It will hit later. They underestimated you because you struggled quietly. You didn't broadcast your pain. You didn't announce your setbacks. You didn't make your failure everyone's business. So they assumed it wasn't affecting you. They assumed you didn't care. They assumed you accepted defeat. But quiet struggle is not surrender. It's strategy. It's choosing to suffer privately instead of performing pain publicly. It's understanding that real work happens in silence, not in status updates. They mistook your silence for weakness. You stopped arguing, stopped defending yourself, stopped explaining your situation, and they interpreted that as giving up, as acceptance, as defeat. But silence is not weakness. Silence is power under control. It's choosing not to waste energy on people who won't understand. It's refusing to explain yourself to minds that already decided about you. Your silence wasn't surrender. It was focus. And focused people don't have time to argue with noise. They confused your patience with surrender. You didn't react immediately. You didn't fight back right away. You didn't try to prove them wrong in the moment. So they thought you accepted their judgment. They thought you agreed with their assessment. They thought you were done. But patience is not surrender. Patience is understanding that revenge is a dish best served through results. That the best response is not words. It's transformation, and transformation takes time. Time you were willing to invest while they were busy celebrating your downfall. This is where it changed. You stopped explaining yourself, not because you had nothing to say, because you realized words wouldn't change their minds. Only results would, and you'd rather spend energy creating results than defending intentions. So you went quiet, completely quiet. No more updates, no more justifications, no more defending your choices to people who never had to make them. You stopped reacting to their comments. Their subtle digs, their fake concern, their I told you so energy. You felt it all. You heard it all. But you didn't respond. Not because you're weak, because you're disciplined. And disciplined people don't react to provocation. They respond with excellence. And excellence takes time to build. So you saved your energy for building instead of defending. You stopped defending yourself because defense is a losing position. It's playing by their rules, on their terms, trying to prove yourself to people who've already decided. But you don't need their approval. You need your results. So you stopped playing defense and started playing offense, building, training, improving, in silence. While they talked, you worked. While they judged, you grew. While they celebrated your fall, you were planning your rise. You didn't announce the change. No dramatic posts, no motivational captions, no declarations of transformation. You just committed, quietly, internally. You made a decision that no one knew about except you. A decision to rebuild, to improve, to become unrecognizable. And that decision didn't need an audience. It needed discipline. And discipline doesn't perform, it executes. You trained alone, in empty gyms, in early mornings, in late nights, when no one was watching, when no one was cheering, when no one even knew you were trying. You put in work that had no witnesses except your reflection. And that work was pure, not corrupted by ego, not performed for applause, just honest effort in pursuit of honest improvement. You fixed flaws in silence, the weaknesses they mocked, the gaps they pointed out, the failures they reminded you of. You addressed all of it, quietly, systematically, one flaw at a time. You didn't make excuses, you made adjustments. You didn't blame circumstances, you adapted to them. You took full ownership and worked in private on the things they criticized you for in public. You rebuilt discipline away from eyes. No one saw the days you showed up exhausted. No one saw the reps you pushed through pain. No one saw the hours you invested when motivation was dead. They only saw the before. They'll only see the after. But the during, that was yours. That private war between who you were and who you were becoming. That battle had no spectators. And that's what made it real. No audience meant no performance pressure. You weren't doing this for likes, for comments, for validation. You were doing it for yourself, for your own respect, for your own proof that you could. And when you remove the audience, you remove the ego. You remove the need to look good while doing it. You remove the temptation to quit when people stop watching. You just work, and work accumulates into transformation. No validation meant no dependency. You didn't need anyone to tell you you were doing well. You measured yourself against yourself. Yesterday's version was the only competition, and every day you were better than that version. You won. Every day you showed up when you didn't feel like it. You validated yourself. You became self-sufficient in belief, and self-sufficient people don't break when support disappears. Failure sharpened your focus. Every mistake showed you exactly where to improve. Every loss revealed gaps in your preparation. Every setback exposed weaknesses in your approach. And instead of being destroyed by these revelations, you used them. You studied your failures like textbooks. You analyzed your losses like film. You turned pain into data, and data made you precise. Pressure matured you. The weight of expectation, the burden of doubt, the stress of rebuilding while being watched. It forced you to grow up, to become serious, to stop playing games with your potential. Pressure revealed who you really were, and instead of crumbling, you compressed into something harder, something denser, something unbreakable. Humiliation removed your ego, being wrong publicly, failing visibly, struggling openly. It stripped away pretense, stripped away the need to look strong, stripped away the performance of confidence. And what remained after ego died? Pure drive, pure discipline, pure focus. You didn't need to look like you were winning anymore. You just needed to actually win, and that shift is everything. You didn't grow louder. You grew sharper, quieter in words, deadlier in action, more reserved in speech, more precise in execution. You learned that volume doesn't equal power, that talking doesn't equal doing, that announcing doesn't equal achieving. So you stopped talking and started doing, and doing made you dangerous. Motivation disappeared, like it always does. The initial anger faded, the revenge fantasy died down, the emotional fuel burned out, and you were left with just the work. And most people quit here when emotion leaves, but you didn't, because you understood motivation starts, discipline finishes. So when motivation abandoned you, discipline remained, and discipline doesn't need feelings to function. Discipline replaced everything. Replaced motivation, replaced emotion, replaced need for validation. It became the only thing that mattered. Show up, execute, repeat, regardless of mood, regardless of recognition, regardless of results. The discipline to do what you said you'd do became your identity. And identity doesn't negotiate. You showed up tired, body begging for rest, mind begging for ease, but you showed up anyway. Not because you wanted to, because you decided to. And decisions made in discipline are unbreakable. They don't bend to feelings. They don't adjust to comfort. They just execute. And execution builds results. You showed up angry, frustrated with slow progress, mad at setbacks, annoyed with obstacles. But you channeled that anger into reps, into work, into effort. You didn't let it make you quit. You let it make you push harder. And anger transformed through discipline becomes fuel. You showed up unseen. No one was watching. No one was encouraging. No one was witnessing your effort. But you showed up anyway, because you stopped needing witnesses. You stopped performing for approval. You started building for yourself, and building for yourself is the only building that lasts. Your comeback won't hurt their ego because you brag. It will hurt because you won't. You won't explain how you did it. You won't rub it in their faces. You won't even acknowledge the transformation. You'll just exist in your new form. Calm, quiet, different, and that will be louder than any words. Your results will expose their excuses. Every excuse they made for why they couldn't. Every reason they gave for why they didn't. Your results will invalidate all of it, not through argument, through evidence. You became living proof that the obstacles they claimed were insurmountable were just difficult, that the circumstances they blamed were just challenging, that the reasons they quit were just uncomfortable. Your consistency will reflect their laziness. They'll see you transformed and ask how, and the answer will be simple. I showed up every day. I did the work. I stayed consistent. And that answer will hurt, because it reveals they could have too. They had the same time, the same hours, the same opportunity. They just chose differently. And your consistency makes that choice undeniable. When results appear, you stay calm. You don't celebrate loudly. You don't post transformation photos. You don't announce your victory. You just exist in the new reality you built, quietly. And that quietness is power, because you're not seeking validation anymore. You're not trying to prove anything anymore. You already proved it to yourself. And that's the only proof that matters. You don't celebrate publicly. No victory laps. No told you so moments. No rubbing it in faces. You just move forward onto the next goal, the next challenge, the next level, because you learned celebration is temporary, progress is permanent, and people who stay celebrating stay stuck. You're interested in staying moving. This isn't about revenge. Not really. This isn't about making them feel bad. This isn't about proving them wrong out of spite. This is about proving yourself right. About validating your belief in your capacity to change. About honoring the commitment you made to yourself in private. About becoming the person you knew you could become when everyone else said you couldn't. Peace replaced rage. You're not angry anymore. You're not bitter. You're not resentful. You're grateful. They doubted you and you used it as fuel. They dismissed you and you used it as motivation. They laughed at you and you used it as determination. They gave you the pressure you needed to transform. And transformation replaced the need for revenge. Your comeback already happened. Not when they see it, when you built it. The comeback was in the private moments, the unseen work, the discipline when no one watched. That's when you came back. Their seeing it is just a formality, a delayed reaction to work you already completed. So you don't need their acknowledgement. You already acknowledged yourself through action. Comment silent comeback if you're rebuilding in silence.